This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. October 10th is World Mental Health Day, and this year we're saying thank you, therapists. BetterHelp therapists have helped over 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. That's millions of stories, millions of journeys, and behind every one is a therapist who showed up, listened, and helped someone take a step forward. Moments in therapy, like the right question, a safe space to cry, or a small win, can change lives. This World Mental Health Day, BetterHelp is honoring those connections and the therapists who make them possible, while showing how easy it is to get guidance from a licensed therapist online with BetterHelp. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. This World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who've helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/PFF. That's betterhelp.com/PFF. Next up, another SEC game here. Number 10, Georgia, beating Auburn last night, 20-10. Let's go over the highest grade players, starting off with the Georgia Bulldogs. Highest grade player for Georgia was the linebacker C.J. Allen. I'll talk about him later. 88.2 grade for him. Ellis Robinson, the fourth, the cornerback, 75.3. Drew Bobo, the center, 70.1. Quintavious Johnson, the edge rusher, 69.9. Kristen Miller, the D tackle, 69.5. And Gunnar Stockton with a very solid 76.6 grade in the win for Georgia. Let's go over the highest grade players for Auburn. Bryce Dees, the edge rusher, 76.1. Robert Woodyard Jr., the linebacker, 74.2. Another linebacker here in Elijah Melendez, 74.1. D tackle Bobby Jamison Travis, 73.8. Offensive tackle Mason Murphy, 70.3. And Jackson Arnold with a 45.8 grade in the loss for the Auburn Tigers. Dalton, for you, what told the story in this game?
I think I'm going to take two angles on this on the passing side, because Georgia absolutely had their best day in coverage this season so far. You're talking about a 78.1 coverage grade, 5 forced incompletions, 8 stops, only 1 missed tackle in coverage, only 1 explosive pass allowed, and that was on a busted coverage on a zero blitz underneath, where one of the linebackers should have picked up the tight end, and he just got a bunch of yards after catch. They did not allow a completion of 10 or more air yards. And you think about this Auburn receiving core and how dangerous it can be with Cam Coleman, with Malcolm Simmons, with Eric Singleton, and how explosive they can be. The fact that Georgia's secondary was a constant for them in this game and kept them in this game was a big factor. So I want to credit, KJ Bolden and Dalen Everett and those guys in the secondary. They were outstanding in this game. CJ Allen as well, like you mentioned, at linebacker. On the other side of this, I do want to talk, the officiating and all that we can talk about later. The penalties were obviously a huge story in this game too. But where we are at now with Auburn is, I think, where it was feared where this could go wrong. Okay, Auburn's got a boatload of talent, right? The defense, I think especially the front seven, is really good. You've got the receivers. You've got 2 good backs. You've got Jackson Arnold was always going to be the X factor in this season, whether Auburn had a big-time successful season and a playoff run or whether it ended up like this. And that's really just what it is. He's now got a 55.6 passing grade this season. 2 big-time throws, 7 turnover-worthy plays, and he's been sacked 22 times in 6 games. And a lot of those are on him. Yeah. This is just, you hate to say it for Auburn, but it's been shown now in 3 games against teams with very, very good defenses, right? Big-time SEC defenses, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Georgia. It is the quarterback. They just don't have the quarterback. Now, again, I know this game probably should have been, we can debate this, but maybe there's been lines drawn and things like that. Maybe should have been 17-0. And if this game is 17-0 with the way Auburn was running the football, then the passing's not even a factor at that point, because I don't know that Georgia's coming back from 17. That momentum swing, losing composure with some of the penalties, and then just the fact that even throughout the second half of this game, 10-3, and then even 10-10, and then Georgia's up 13-10. Auburn just struggles to throw the football. And it's kind of become same old story. And against secondaries like this, you need your quarterback to be able to make big throws. And I think that's really the problem now with Auburn's season, is that they still can't drop back and throw the football.
And they have a ton of talent at receiving core, and they improved because last year at Oklahoma, Jackson Arnold was like, okay, the receiving core was terrible, offensive line was terrible. Arnold was a 5-star recruit. Maybe it was a supporting cast, because we see supporting casts all the time kill quarterbacks. Now at Auburn, the supporting cast is much, much better, and he's still not performing well. So, yeah, I think you could absolutely blame Jackson Arnold.
And I was a believer that, okay, the Baylor game, week 1, that Hugh Freeze called a great game and the run game was working, stay on it, right? And Auburn and Arnold only threw the ball 17 times in that game. And I said, well, he didn't have to in that one, right? Okay, yeah, like I get Hugh Freeze sticking with it. And then the next couple of games, Ball State, South Alabama, kind of casual. And then they go back to, okay, let's force Arnold to throw it for 2 games. I liked the run rate and everything in this game, the way that Auburn came out running the ball, but they didn't take advantage of opportunities. Another questionable call that might have killed them. And then the penalties right after. I just think this Auburn offense is just not. It just hasn't been in sync for 3 weeks, and it shows in the points. I mean, 17, 10, and 10. And their defense, they've given up 24 or less in every game this season. Their defense is good enough. The receivers are good enough. The O-line, run game, all that stuff's good enough. They just can't throw the football. And that's really what's sinking Auburn right now. And again, Georgia's secondary, much like A&M's last week, much like Oklahoma's the week before, especially Oklahoma's pass rush too, outstanding stuff on the back end from Georgia's defense here, just keeping them in this game and never letting it get away from them. Absolutely.
Yep. My stat is Auburn had 40 total yards in the second half of this game. The first half, Auburn's offense showed a lot of life, right? They had 10 points and 236 yards. Could have been 17 points. With Jackson Arnold, of course, had that fumble on the goal line that was really close to looking like it was a touchdown for him. And after that fumble, Auburn's offense completely stalled out in this one. 1.7 yards per play in the second half, negative .822 EPA per play in the second half. Only 3 total first downs for Auburn in the second half. A 45.3 offensive grade. Jackson Arnold had a 29.3 passing grade in the second half. And I want to give credit to Kirby Smart and their defense too, because I feel like we're talking about Auburn a lot right now in this offense. Kirby Smart's defense went into halftime, and they obviously made a lot of adjustments at halftime. They went into halftime with momentum, and they came out and completely shut down this Auburn offense on the road in Jordan-Hare Stadium. A great job by Kirby Smart and that defense to just completely shut them down the entire time in the second half and allow Georgia's offense to take their time and make this comeback gradually in this game. And ultimately, Georgia pulled out a victory, and 0 points for Auburn in the second half, only 40 total yards. That's a masterclass by Kirby Smart's defense in the second half.
I guarantee you he told his whole team, but especially his defense, listen, we got our asses kicked in this first half. We had the ball for 8 minutes. That team physically dominated us in every way that they wanted to, but it's only 10-3. And if it's only 10-3 and that was their best punch, then we're going to come out and shut this team down. I really think that's where Kirby was at, was listen, you guys played horribly, and we can win this game. This game should be 17-0. I guarantee he told his team that, and he just goes, you know what?
Did you see the video after the game of him on the field?
What did he
was
say?
He was like talking to some people, and someone's like a video of him, and he was like, man, we stole that one, he said.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely, because he knows the first half of that game they got whacked physically. Yeah. Absolutely, up front they were getting dominated. And if that did get to 17-0, I don't think they were coming back the way that Georgia's offense is playing. And they do have some offensive issues. They really do. But the fact, and again, I think it speaks to Kirby Smart and this program that on the road through all those circumstances and everything going on, that they do just find ways to win ball games, right? And eventually against even more elite teams, they're going to have to play better, right? They're going to have to play better. I mean, you think about the game against Alabama. They tried to grit and guile their way through that one. They couldn't do it that night. But They're going to have to play better, but the fact that in these games, in these moments, when it could get away from them, that they can stay in the pocket with all the championship pedigree that they do have and Kirby Smart and everything, that's why you have Kirby Smart as your coach right there, is to stay in these types of games and get away from it and steal one on the road that maybe he feels like the way they played, maybe he feels like they shouldn't have won it, but darn it, they found a way, and that's what matters.
Yep, absolutely. So we talk a lot about the Georgia defense for allowing the comeback to happen for Georgia, but also, Dalton, they needed a quarterback to lead that comeback for them, and you want to shout out Gunnar Stockton.
I do. I think very much in a similar way to Arch Manning at Texas. I think Gunnar Stockton in this game just, he toughed it out, man. I think there's certain moments in this game when you think about all the circumstances going on around the fumble on the quarterback sneak. At the end of the day, Georgia got the ball on the 1 yard line with under 2 minutes left, right? Down 10-0, he leads them down for a field goal. You feel good about something. You're grinding your way through a second half. Your team's barely running the ball for over 3 yards a carry. Gunnar Stockton's making enough throws. And I'll tell you what, the drive I think I was most impressed with all night. In the fourth quarter, what was it, 7 or 8 minutes they took off the clock in the fourth quarter that finished with his rushing touchdown. You could just feel Georgia just going, we just keep pushing, just an inch, a yard at a time, just keep going. And Gunnar Stockton making throws on third down. The rushing touchdown, obviously, is the signature moment in this game, sealing it, aside from all the penalties and nonsense at the end of the first half. But it just felt to me like, I'll tell you what, Gunnar Stockton, is he the best quarterback in the country? No. Does he have his flaws? Absolutely. There's one thing I won't question, and it's just the sheer grit. And in the same way I just talked about the whole team, Gunnar Stockton has embraced that part of just, you know what? We're going to find a way to do it. The Tennessee game was the same way. That was one where you had to air it out a little more. We're just going to find a way to do it. I'm going to do everything the head ball coach tells me to do, and if that doesn't work, then we'll move on to next week. But I thought Stockton did a great job of just staying composed in a tough environment in a game with a boatload of adversity. And again, just finding a way to win. That's really what makes this Georgia team so dangerous, is their defense keeps them in games. And most times in situational football, didn't happen against Alabama, but most times in those situationals, Georgia's going to be the team that comes out on top. And again, we've seen it twice now between the Tennessee game and this one.
Yep, absolutely. I got to love, too, Gunnar Stockton with the Superman touchdown dive he had on the night when Cam Newton got his jersey retired by Auburn, too.
Yeah.
So that was pretty awesome by Gunnar Stockton.
I mean, it was the definition of just a gritty win from Georgia. And it's there. Look, you look at this team, and they look a bit flawed. They play a bit flawed. It's not great. There's certain moments the pass rush isn't great. The offense isn't necessarily moving. They didn't run the ball very well in this game against a very good run defense. But once again, they win, and that's really what the Georgia Bulldogs do. They just win.
Yep. My most impressive is C.J. Allen in this one, the linebacker for Georgia. He showed in this game why he is one of the best linebackers in the country and also one of the best linebackers in the 2026 NFL draft. He had about an 88 PFF guy, I believe, in this game. 2 forced completions, 2 coverage stops, 86.6 coverage rate, 80.2 run defense grade with 3 run defense stops, 2 tackles for loss or no gain, and, of course, the forced fumble on the goal line against Jackson Arnold in the biggest play of the game. Also had a sack on Jackson Arnold in this one, too. An incredible all-around day in coverage, run defense, and in pass rushing for one of the best all-around linebackers that we have in college football. He flies around the football. C.J. Allen could be a top 40 pick in the NFL draft, if not a first-round pick in the 2026 NFL draft.
I mean, the sky is blue, and Georgia's got a great middle linebacker. You're saying nothing that's news to me at all, whether it's Roquan Smith or Nakobe Dean or Jalen Walker and now C.J. Allen. I mean, no, just outstanding in this game. And again, he was the one constant. I thought, especially in coverage, he was really good, and I thought that was the biggest question. And also, I'm sure his stat line would have looked even better. He had a dropped interception as well and a ball Arnold threw behind a crosser. So Allen was great. I mean, it's a tradition here at Georgia where they've just always got a great middle linebacker, and he's next in line.
Yep, absolutely. C.J. Allen with an 88.2 PFF grade in the win for Georgia, a 20-10 win for Georgia over their arch rival in Auburn. All right,